Hello, everyone. Hi. Oh my God. So, where do I start? Welcome to the Reforming Pessimist podcast. My name is Avanga, and it's good to be here. I'm really excited and I'm also really nervous. I've always wanted to do something like this. Um, just talk about things that's in my head. Um, Bring out the things that go on within me that I wouldn't want a lot of people to know about. Or I'm afraid that people may think of it as crazy. I am hoping to be able to express those things to you so that you are able to maybe feel validated and not hopefully think that it's just you that go through these things. So, like I said, my podcast is called the Reforming Pessimist podcast, and you probably would have read the description. And I wanted to start a mental health podcast and talk about being someone who experienced living with mental health issues and mental health struggles over a very, very long period of time. And I also want to bring a little bit of humor to, this illness that is mental health and how living with it can bring out some of the most craziest part of you in most essence. So I'm hoping to be able to express these versions of me through this podcast. And so I've started this podcast and I want to go on this journey to basically explore a lot of mental health topics and mental health issues and speak to other people. I'm looking forward to bringing people along with me actually who I can interview and talk to because I find that it's so important to understand that like this whole illness of mental health is not. I know that, of course, if you're in the social media world and if you're in the world, you hear a lot of buzzwords. You hear a lot of therapy talk and a lot of information out there that sometimes may be very confusing and also not explanatory. And I wanted to kind of go on a journey of hopefully being able to share a decision that I've made about my life because a lot of us do it now, innit? We like to put ourselves on online and express our creativity in different ways that are personal to us. So some people is writing books or making music and stuff like that. And for me, in terms of in a way of expressing my creativity, I love talking. I like to talk and learn and have conversations and put those thoughts and ideas that I have in my head out there and see if maybe it aligns or it doesn't align and what other people's perspectives are. Because for me, the main why is how much can I learn about this illness? Like how much can I find out about this illness to be able to help me live with it and move with it and find a way to pursue and progress life in a beautiful way. So just to give you a little bit of context, as you're going to be getting a lot of personal stories from me, I've been through a lot of shitty things in life, like a lot of shitty things that I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to share publicly. And some I've worked on over the time, so I will be able to also bring up and have conversations with you, of course, respecting other parties that are involved in my story. And of course, there's going to be a lot of fun. There's also going to be a lot of serious conversations regarding mental health. And also breaking things down to get people to understand from my own personal experience, and hopefully as I get to bring a lot more people like friends around me or people I will encounter who I feel like have a very, very important side of the story regarding mental health that I think may have a massive impact on people if they heard about it. Hopefully be able to bring people like that on and have a conversation with them. Every time I meet people and I interact with them, the first thing that I kind of want to learn or understand about them is what their position is, when they approach the world with their mind, like how much has their mind impacted them, and how they are able to approach the world and stand in the world and be able to participate in the world whilst battling this illness. Because the funny thing about mental health that I realize is that even though it's being spoken about a lot, it's also a little bit invisible. So it's like kind of like an invisible illness where for some people it can be very like, you can clearly see it. It's like blatant, it's like clear in the face. You can see that, like, they are really, really struggling and they may need help. And then there's some people where the illness, in my opinion, how I've experienced the illness has been really, really silent. Like so silent that like it's hard to even, people around you cannot notice it, because in some ways you learn to build certain levels of coping mechanisms that will, help put basically blocks in front of you so that you can prevent people from seeing within you and seeing what you're really battling inside and like the demons that you're dealing with. And in the same time as well, I also see that this illness can be also really, really dangerous, because everything is happening within you. You don't have any sort of support, any sort of people around you to be able to, or even have the knowledge in terms of how to be able to fix that inner issue or illness. It can in turn be such a thing that you become a silent killer, and it can lead you slowly to your death. And the problem with the illness of mental health is that sometimes it's so hard to know what to do to be able to fix it. Like if I have a headache, I know I can go get paracetamol. But when it comes to mental health, particularly if you don't live in a world where you have access to therapy and you're privileged and you have money to be able to pay for therapy, and it can be really, really hard. And there are affordable ways of being able to look after your mental health, of course, but sometimes for specific spectrums of the illness, you may need a lot of help and support. And in most cases, sometimes you can't even afford it because of like, your social position of how much you earn, or what challenges that you have, or even particularly what environment that you were already within where the trauma is happening, that you can even feel like you can feel like you can even escape from it. So in my long-windedness of talking about mental health and mental illness, in the serious part of it, I think that this is basically what I want to hopefully showcase on this podcast, and hopefully be able to give a lot of people out there validations for all the things that they notice around them. They're like, oh my God, this is little, there's nothing wrong with that, I should be able to deal with it, it's okay, there's nothing wrong with this is not a problem at all, I'm fine. To be able to give a lot of those people validation, they're like, you're not fine. And it's not okay. And the fact that cliche saying of it's okay to not be okay, that like, yeah, it is okay to not be okay, because noticing that you're not okay is so important for you to be able to really start the journey of fighting this illness. And so this is where I got to at the age of 25. I've had my friends come over for a weekend for my 25th birthday, and it's been a whirlwind. Like I'm going through one of the worst depressions I've ever been through in my life. Like I'm just going through one of the worst depressions because I've got a lot in my life going on, and I've been battling with clinical depression for a very, very long time, since childhood. And I didn't even know the language for it. It was clinical depression. Like as you get older and you start to look into your illness and you speak to people and you maybe get professional help, you start to realize, oh, this is the issue that I have, and that's why my moods are like crazy and stuff like that. So I make the decision that after my friends have, of course, come over, and they've been cheering me on and showing me so much love and celebrating me for my 25th. They are my chosen family. They're people I know, they love me so much. I'm in a very, very deep depression, and I'm just miserable, and I'm at my wit's ends, and I'm tired of being depressed. Like I'm tired of depression and just living with depression, where like even when I'm around joy, I struggle to experience those joys. For the first time ever, I want to actually genuinely experience these joys and experience, these beautiful things that are around me, instead of letting my demons and my past and my trauma and a lot of hurt that has happened to me be the leading force in my life. So I made the decision to, not let certain things hold me back anymore. I made the decision to start changing specific relationships in my life that causes me to be unhappy and miserable. I made a lot of decisions to change. And so herein lies me making the decision to change and then saying, what now? Okay, I don't want to be depressed anymore. So what's the other alternate? Because all I've known for a very, very long time in my whole life, for maybe majority, like at that point I'm 25, so I'll even say like 3/4 of my life or even more. All I've known is pessimism and just victimhood and woe is me and sadness, because it's just been a lot for a very, very long time. And I've not encountered joy. I've not encountered love, even though it's been around me. To not deny that it's been around me. I've seen people now as an adult. I look back and I'm like, wow, like I may not have seen a lot of the joy and, beauty around me, but there was a lot of that around me and I couldn't see it because major factors of what I needed to, build my self-esteem and who I am and my identity as a person, in terms of what we are told anyway, when you're a child and you're growing up. A lot of that was taken away from me. So I was in misery as a child into my teenage years, where I would get hopeful and then I'll encounter more misery. So I've been miserable for a very, very long time. And I grew up in an environment, particularly in my early childhood, from the ages of 6 to my mid-teens. I was living with family and, you could express depression, but not for too long. You had to learn to be joyful and playful and happy around things. And so I built this coping mechanism where I learned how to perform happiness, because happiness was like for instance, my auntie that I grew up with, she exuded a lot of personality and she was so boisterous and she could talk to anybody, and she was, she had this personality where she was a people social person. So I observed her closely and how her daughters were, where they were very joyous, and when they met each other they would jump and hug each other and be so happy, because I didn't know how to be happy and I was in misery. A lot of my childhood I performed their joy because that's what joy looked like to me, and that then led me on to be able to put that performance as a mask. So for a lot of people, actually probably I have personal relationship anyway, knows me as a very joyous and very happy person. They see me as outgoing, they see me as fun to be around and stuff like that. But I must say, in all honesty, that for a very long time in those relationships, I was performing happiness. But I also see that as I graduate, because that change in my life happened when I was like around 17. So those little loves that I've gotten from people I've met subsequently whilst I was still going through my misery, they have basically helped change the gas mark a little, where like it was pure misery, or all I could think about was the depression, and then I'll have sparks of joy and sparks of happiness because of my friends who have encountered, were exposing me to new things and challenging me, and and so I'm receiving a lot of love from them and they're encouraging of me, and so now I'm getting love from people. And I think that getting that love from my friends, and from a lot of people, not just my friends but some family members and stuff like that, and also moving away from misery and not just being in misery, it got to a point where I needed to make a change. And hence the reason why I was like, okay, the misery has built a lot of negative thoughts and image and opinions of myself, my worldview, and the way that I want to approach life. And so I decided to embark on a journey from 25 till now. So from basically a month from now, I'm turning 30. And from that period till now, even though I started doing my actual work, from I think the age of 19, I realized that there was a problem, but I really started to understand what the work was when I was 25, and I've been trying to work through things so I can battle trigger warning, things like, suicidal ideation, some eating disorders, and some other things as well. So I'm excited to talk about my journey from pessimism, and hopefully also bringing people on to talk to me about how their view and their approach to life has been, depending on what their upbringing has, and if they're looking from the world from a very optimistic point of view, or if they're looking of the world from a very pessimistic point of view, is very neutral, and people who are willing to be able to be as vulnerable as I am and open as I am. And I'm also going to be bringing people on to have conversations about things that make life beautiful to them and that makes life joyous for them, because I think that those are the things that, as somebody who's trying to work and heal myself and fix myself from my illness, I want to be able to bring those messaging into me, because I think the reason why I'm here today is because of all the people in my life who are really, even though they have their own little struggles and everything, but also have so many healthy characteristics about them, that I'm able to adopt those healthy characteristics to build my own esteem, my own self-esteem, and who I am. I think that when you meet people who love you, they reflect you well, and they're able to pinpoint certain things out about you in a very honest manner that can really get you to challenge yourself and build yourself up. And so hopefully, even if you do not have friends, and so you're somebody that's, alone, and you're still living with your mental health by yourself and you don't even have people around you, I'm hoping that this podcast and whatever conversation I subsequently have moving forward, you're able to find solace and also get some lessons, because it's all about learning, right, from other people's mistakes or other people's doing, to be able to hopefully change your life, and make it as good as you can make it with whatever you've been given, even if it's so little or nothing, that you can make the best out of it. Because I have come to the place of realizing that if I'm going to wait on life to save me, it's not. And now that I'm in a stage of my life where I have autonomy, and I have choice, and I can make certain decisions, I can choose to let some things that could cripple me, could cripple anybody. I refuse to let those things keep crippling me, because I'm crippled for a long time, and I'm unhappy, and I'm sad, and I'm heartbroken, and I don't want to be here. But at the same time too, I have one life, and I need to work on deciding to be like, no, I want to live it. I want to live it happily. I want to not, however many time that I have left, not let that also be consumed by these things that keep holding me in one place and not moving along. I see that I'm a big believer in you have different versions of you at different ages within you that is basically controlling you now as the adult. So I break it down as I have different versions of me with different age of traumas that react to things that I me as a 30-year-old, almost 30-year-old anyway, would not behave like that. So sometimes I behave so badly, and I'm like, oh my God, I let my 8-year-old behave like that, or my 20-year-old behave like that, because even though I'm healing, I'm getting better, those girls are still within me, and they are still hurt, and they're still in pain, and I need to be able to learn to embrace them and manage them so that they're not constantly hurt, because they're hurt and they're stuck in that hurt. And I need to be able to learn to embrace them and carry them along with me and show them new and different things and not be stuck where I am. So this is how I've chosen to pursue this journey. It doesn't have to be the same for everyone, but I just wanted to talk and share about it and see if other people are doing it differently, you know, how other people are sustaining themselves. I realized that if anything, one positive thing that life gave me, I'm a Christian, so I always say God as well, but it doesn't matter, you know, what you use to sustain yourself or how you used to keep going. But if anything, life is a big, big, big lesson. And every day I've been schooled so much. Every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, how can I learn from his teachings and what is putting me through? And how can I not let the hurt lead, but maybe the lesson lead me instead? And be able to curate a better and a happier life for myself. So yeah, this is me, guys. You're going to get a balance of a lot of cackling and laughter and also a lot of melancholy. When I start the podcast, I'll try and do a check-in with you all and be like where I am emotionally. But I'm really good at like sometimes just powering through my emotions because I've been able to do that for a very long time. So I could be really sad and still have a very happy podcast because that's who I am and that's my personality. So it also shows you my complexity as well, and you know how I'm just not going to be a jovial, happy podcast, but also like just a human podcast. And I also wanted to say that I want to welcome you to this podcast. I hope that if you listen to it and you fall in love with it, that you're able to share with people. And I just want to like, you know, hopefully get to read a lot of people's stories that like they feel the same way that I feel, narcissistically. Or maybe not. And it's maybe just me. But anyway, I'm putting it out there. We'll see. And I also so I'm gonna be doing this in a very slow paced base, you know, so that I can actually really pay attention to it and do it in a way that I know serves me and is really good. And I'm going to be putting it out every fortnightly, and I might take breaks in between. Bear with me because I need to prioritize my mental health. Even though I love doing, I know I will love doing this because like this is something that I enjoy doing, which is like talking to people and just talking in general. Because when I process things, now that I'm healing, is when I process out loud by talking. It helps a lot for me. So yeah, it's going to be every fortnightly. And I'm looking forward to, you know, having multiple different conversations for you where it's not always about mental health. And like I said, also like, you know, do some fun episodes like of things that I'm passionate about and how I'm being able to like, you know, learn to accept my depression and my anxieties and my traumas that I've, you know, experienced, but also learn to be able to find love for them in terms of the lessons that they've taught me, which is really, really hard. And, you know, sharing like the things that I'm doing to be able to help me confront my issues and, you know, lessons I've learned from people and stuff like that. And also having people come here and also share so that you can also learn from them, because I'm looking forward to also learning from those people as well. I launched my next episode, which I'm really excited. I'm going to be I've got some recorded episodes with some guests, so hopefully you get to listen to those episodes as well and like, you know, let me know if you like it or if you enjoy it. Or thank all my girlies for encouraging me to pursue this. And also my younger brother as well. And my cousin Winnie. And just all the people in my life who see that I want to do this and are supportive and are encouraging and are like, just do it, girl. I want to say thank you to them. And also I want to say thank you to Jabs, who sang and worked on the music for this podcast. So yes, I want to say thank you to Jabs for that. I really appreciate you, babes. Yeah, welcome to the Reforming Pessimist podcast. And life is flipping raggedy, but you know what? We are going to like literally make it more on raggedy and have a little bit more fun because we all deserve it. Come on. So yeah, welcome to the podcast. It was very intense first episode of me introducing myself and my why, and I appreciate you listening, and I look forward to doing more of what I said on the episode. Have a beautiful day wherever you are, and I hope that like you have some hold on your mind, and if you're not, I hope that like you may find some hope somewhere that will keep you going. I hope that like you realize that like you are so worthy of being here. You're so worthy of living this life, and this life also belongs to you. It really belongs to you, and that you are entitled to that joyous and beautiful life, and that safe life and full of peace. And I look forward to speaking to you on the next episode. Have a brilliant time.
Your feelings, what? All I know is life is raggedy, raggedy.